Hey, all right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the sincere apostles and elders of a great millstone who are my teachers. And peace and salutations to you brothers out there preaching this word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Yahweh Sap with another lesson. All right, just going to be touching on some news and prophecy going into the MOTB and more. All right, Lord's will, we can get into it all because there's a lot that's going on, man. And we're seeing the push for the NWO, which is going to consist of the mark of the beast spoken about in Revelation 13, which we're going to go ahead and get into. All right, which is going to consist of the RFID, C-HIP, all right, and the Neuralink, man, because we see how Esau is pushing for a digital currency. He's pushing for a digital age. All right, we are entering into the fourth industrial revolution. If anything, we're already here. All right, if you haven't heard of the Internet of Things, I suggest you tune in because this is going to touch a little bit on that. All right, to give you edification on what's to come and how it's being approached. All right, and so I have a couple of clips that I want to play for you, brothers and sisters, man. Lord's will, this lesson is edifying, uplifting the spirit. All right, so for my first one, it says Russia just dropped a bombshell. U.S. is pushing everyone to crypto to hide massive dollar debt. And that's right, they're pushing everyone to crypto, not just to hide the massive dollar debt, but also to separate you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, you true biblical Israelites, from the Heavenly Father completely, man. He wants to spiritually grape you, okay? And so this video touches a little bit on it, and so I'm going to go ahead and let it play.
And the BRICS nations are holding an emergency meeting right now in Brazil to deal with it. Russian President Putin, China's Xi Jinping are attending this meeting, and the focus, we're told, is the BRICS response to Trump's tariffs and sanctions, and most importantly, the threat to their new multipolar order, moving away from the SWIFT system. The U.S. doesn't like that. The West doesn't like that. Remember, just last week in China, Putin, Modi, and Xi laid out their new plans for a multipolar world order. They're basically done with the U.S. dollar and the SWIFT system and so much more. But something else is on Putin's mind. What happens to the $37 trillion debt that the United States is currently sitting on right now? Well, this weekend, Russia started sounding the alarm about what the United States is going to do with all of that debt. Russia says America is going to push everyone into crypto using a stable coin strategy scheme, which we've covered here over the past 2 years on this show, and then devalue the currency once everyone is moved over to this stable coin structure. Watch this. This is in Russian, but I'll read it out loud. The U.S. is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember the size of their debt, 35 trillion. It's actually 37, but these two sectors, gold and crypto, are essentially alternatives to the traditional global currency system. Washington's actions in this area clearly highlight one of its main goals: to urgently address the declining trust in the dollar. As in the 1930s and 70s, the U.S. plans to solve its financial problems at the world's expense. This time by pushing everyone into the crypto cloud. Over time, once part of the U.S. national debt is placed into stable coins, Washington will devalue that debt. Well, we've been...
And there you have it, man. So these different nations are starting to call out America, aka Babylon the Great, in the scriptures for wanting to push everyone into a stable coin, all right, to hide the massive dollar debt. But regardless, they're going to go ahead and move over into a digital age anyways, first and foremost because it's prophecy, and second because ultimately they're not really going to have another choice. So before I continue, I want to grab this in the book of Revelation, all right, chapter 13, and jumping down to verse 16. And it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." So he's going to cause everyone, or at least try to cause everyone to take that chip, man. All right, but the Heavenly Father, he left himself a small remnant. Let me grab this in the book of, I believe it's 1 Kings, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but pretty much he left himself a small remnant that's not going to bow the knee to Baal, right? And so let me see. Bear with me. Here it is, the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, all right, and verse 18. And it says, "Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel," all right, talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, "all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him." And so that's right. So there's going to be a certain remnant that's not going to bow their knees to Baal, man. And this is coming very soon, man. All right, we're seeing these things approach very fast. Let me grab this in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, and jumping down to verse 12. And it reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." And why are we rejoicing? All right, why are the heavens rejoicing? Because this devil is being taken down. All right, it says, continuing it, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." So he knows he has a short time. All right, because he sees the prophecies being solidified the same way that we see him being solidified, man. All right, we see the nations rising up against his whore. All right, we see the economy crashing. All right, America collapsing from within. All right, and then overall we see how the MOTB is being pushed, and it's being pushed in a way to where it's not really like you're not going to notice it until it's too late. So if you're not paying attention, if you're not staying on your watch, this is going to overtake you. All right, because they're pushing, it's what they call a soft push. Let's look this up. Let's look this up real quick. All right, what is a soft push? All right, a soft push can refer to several concepts depending on the context, including a gentle, non-overpowering force, as seen in a physical interaction like a soft push in basketball to create space, or in digital interactions, a gradual request to allow push notifications before directly asking for permission. It can also describe the behavior of a cleaning tool like a soft bristled brush, yada, yada, yada. Let me see, in digital marketing, in general use, it says the term soft push can simply mean a gentle or light push, in contrast to a harder, more forceful one, such as when a child gently pushes a toy car, or when an individual nudges an elbow. So pretty much they're doing a soft push towards the digital age. All right, to where it's like explain like a physical push, that you're not being pushed hard into it, but it's nudging you slowly and surely. All right, and how is it doing that? Well, let's go ahead and jump real quick into the Internet of Things. All right, I'm gonna grab this right here.
What is the Internet of Things, or IoT? Let's break it down. IoT refers to a network of physical devices connected to the Internet, allowing them to collect, share, and act on data. From smart thermostats and wearable fitness trackers to connected cars and smart cities, IoT is everywhere. Here's how it works. Devices are equipped with sensors that collect data, such as temperature, location, or heart rate. This data is sent over the internet to other devices or cloud systems where it's processed and used to make decisions or trigger actions. For example, a smart thermostat can learn your preferences and adjust the temperature automatically. IoT makes our lives more convenient, efficient, and interconnected. Businesses use IoT to monitor equipment, track shipments, and improve operations. Cities use IoT to manage traffic and conserve energy. The potential of IoT is huge, but it also raises questions about privacy and security. That's why developing robust safeguards is crucial as IoT grows. Like and follow for more, and let us know what you'd like to learn about.
All right, and then I got one more.
Starting from checking how many steps you walk today on your fitness tracker, to tracking and monitoring thousands of orders in a large e-commerce on your smartphone, Internet of Things is everywhere. But the point is, what is IoT and how does it work? Internet of Things is a smart network of devices that interact with each other and share data. Let's take an example to understand this. Say your car's navigation system. The infotainment system is a smart device with multiple sensors that can understand your vehicle's position on the road, its speed, and a lot more. The navigation system is connected to a specific cloud, where it securely transfers data like your current speed, the direction in which you are going, and the final destination you have set for navigation. The cloud server receives and stores data where some algorithms process them and send them back. Starting from checking how many steps you walk.
We're already in the Internet of Things, right? And you had Klaus Schwab that was actually talking about this. Let me see. And grab this right here. 13 signs the fourth industrial revolution is already here. And so if you didn't know, which this article was posted in 2015, and so we've already been in the fourth industrial revolution. That's what the digital age is. If you don't know what the fourth industrial revolution is, I recommend looking it up. But pretty much, it says implantable, because I'm going to go ahead and jump down. It says implantable and wearable technologies. Remember how bulky mobile phones used to be in the 80s and even the 90s? By 2025, you might look back at your smartphone and say the same thing. The vast majority, 82% of respondents, said that in the next 10 years, the first implantable mobile phone will be available commercially. Even more of them, 91%, said that 10% of us would be wearing clothes that are connected to the internet. Says our digital presence. Just 10 years ago, a digital presence meant you have an email address. Now, even your grandparents have a Facebook page, a Twitter account, and a personal website. By 2025, 80% of people across the world will have a digital presence, according to 84% of the experts we surveyed. And we're in that year. We're in 2025, and you have the smartphones, you have the smart glasses. All right, you have the RFID chip already. All right, you have smart homes, you have smart cars. All right, they're building smart cities. All right, these things are already taking place, and then you got Gil Bates talking about an implantable smartphone. You know, so these things are escalating more and more, and they're pushing for it more and more. Why? Because he knows that he has a short time. All right. It says vision as a new interface. If, like me, you were unfortunate enough to need glasses from a young age, you remember the relentless taunting from classmates. But by 2025, we spectacled folks could be the coolest kids on the block. 80%, 6% of those surveyed that 10% of reading glasses will be connected to the internet, allowing the wearer to access a wealth of apps and data on the go. And let's go ahead and look this up. Meta AI glasses, right? Meta glasses review. We'll go ahead and just look this up. Try to get a short on it. See,
warning about that for over a year now on the.
Hyper-focus my attention. Meta smart glasses.
Baby, a selfish new dimension in my mind. You're exotic like a diamond. I can't.
I've had these Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses for about 4 months now. I use them almost every day. There's a lot to love, but they're not perfect. So in this video, I'm going to be speaking about the good, the bad, and if they're still worth it.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
My glasses! I can't be seen without my glasses!
Let's start with the good. The biggest reason I love these glasses is how easy it is to capture content. I don't have to pull out my phone, I just tap the frame and I'm recording. It's a game changer when I'm out traveling because I can just stay in the moment while still getting the shot. They also take pictures, but I'll be honest, I barely use that feature. It's nice to have, but for me, it's all about the video. Another thing I didn't expect to use a lot was the AI assistant. I spent a lot of time in Germany and I use it a lot when it comes to translating words or phrases. Hey Meta, how do you say how are you in German?
You can say wie geht es dir, which means how are you in German.
Show.
And
Dr.
so
Kirk
there you
Elliott
go. These things are already being implemented. You know, this is where we're at. It says back in this article, ubiquitous computing. For those of us privileged enough to live in places where internet access is the norm, it might seem like everything has moved online, but still 57% of the world is not connected. Although almost 80% of respondents said that in the next decade, 90% of the global population will have regular access to the internet, democratizing the many benefits of the digital revolution. It says a supercomputer in your pocket. Last year, global mobile penetration rate stood at 50%. According to 81% of those we surveyed, within the next decade, 90% of the world will be using smartphones. Not only will mobile penetration rates increase, but the devices themselves will be even more sophisticated, making yesterday's supercomputers pale in comparison. It says storage for all. Digital hoarders rejoice. You can continue producing vast quantities of content without having to worry about where to store it. By 2025, 91% of the experts we interviewed said most of us, 90%, will have unlimited and free digital storage. The Internet of and for things, glasses, clothing, accessories with increasing computer power and falling hardware prices, we can connect almost anything to the internet. Within the next decade, there will be 1 trillion sensors connected to the Internet of Things, according to 89% of respondents. The opportunities this development will provide are almost limitless. Connected sensors will improve safety of everything from planes to food, boost productivity, and help us manage our resources more efficiently and sustainably. It says smart cities and smarter homes. Many of us are now lucky enough to have a couple of connected devices in our homes, maybe a Sonos wireless sound system and a smart TV. But by 2025, 70% of survey respondents think 50% of internet traffic delivered to homes will be for appliances and devices such as smart fridges, thermostats, and security systems. It says our cities are a little bit further behind. Only 64% of respondents said we would have a city with a population of 50,000 with no traffic lights. But of those cars stuck at the red light, 10% of them will be driverless, according to 79% of those surveyed. And now let's go ahead and look this up. Driverless car. Let's put 2025. We'll look into the shorts, man, just because these things are already happening. You got driverless Teslas, all right, testing out new driverless cars. Let's
Top
grab
5
this.
best self-driving cars to own to 5.
And there you have it. You're having these different self-driving cars. Let's look at smart cities. Because this is where they're pushing for it. Let me see.
These 4 Chinese cities are already living in the future. Number 1, Shenzhen, where mornings begin with 3D printers humming and coffee arrives by drone before your alarm even rings. This city reinvents itself daily. Street markets sell silicon chips next to dumplings, and tomorrow gets built in silent factories today. Number 2, Shanghai, a skyline that races your heartbeat. Bullet trains glide past old stone houses, and grandmas dance in neon-lit plazas beneath the world's second tallest tower. Every glass skyscraper reflects a different tomorrow. Number 3, Chongqing, a city that bends gravity and logic. Highways loop around towers, elevators lead to subways, and 32 million people move through vertical layers of light and mist like a real-life hologram. Number 4, Beijing, where AI writes poetry in ancient alleyways, robo-taxis know your favorite noodle spot, and the Great Wall now streams in 8K. These 4 Chinese cities are already...
And so there you have it, man. These smart cities, all right, they're coming everywhere. And it's not just going to be in China, man. They're planning on putting it here in America as well. All right. You also got them putting AI robots. Let's grab this. Hey, they're already working in factories. Let's see. All right, let's see what else.
If this robot rolls towards you, you have no chance to escape. This tire-looking police has started patrolling the streets of China and is designed to replace the police in dangerous situations. As it's equipped with net guns and tear gas, it can withstand shocks of up to 4 tons and travel at 22 miles per hour over rough terrain, making it highly effective at stopping criminals.
Let's see. Let's look up Elon Musk. because he also speaks about this. All right, and then we'll move on.
Meet Proxy, the multitasking machine. Proxy isn't just a robot. It's a complete masterpiece. Designed with advanced AI, Proxy can take care of tasks that require strength and coordination, all without a single problem. Here's what Proxy can do. Navigate busy spaces. Think warehouses that are crowded, overflowing offices, or even your garage. Open and manipulate objects. Need to open a box or given tools? Proxy's on it. What do you think? Is Proxy the new normal or the start of robots replacing humans? Let me know in the comments.
And so there you go, man. They're talking about robots replacing humans. All right, they're talking about moving over to digital currency. All right, so these things are already happening, man, right before our eyes. I also got one more clip that I want to play for you. I was just watching this from the brother. He actually posted a lesson going into these things. Let me see. Where's it at? Check this out, man.
So the superintelligence is where things could get really nutty. And we're already starting, and that's where like the doomsday scenarios, Terminator ones kind of come out of that group. So what happens if, all drivers go away? Well, every self-driving car is 4 full-time jobs, and every humanoid robot in a factory is 5 jobs, maybe 6, because those jobs you can work for maybe 7 hours as a just physical limitation. As humans, we're driving, you can work a 12-hour shift. And those are going to be here, folks. And before 2030, you're going to see Amazon, which has massively invested in this, replace all factory workers and all drivers. The idea that when you order something from Amazon, a human would touch it at any point in that supply chain is insane. It will be 100%, robotic, which means all of those workers are going away. Every Amazon worker, all those jobs, UPS gone, FedEx gone. All of those are going to be gone, and those companies will be more profitable. And when you order something, it's going to come faster and cheaper and better. And your Uber will be half as much, but somebody needs to retrain these people. And that's actually a very valid fear that technologists will tell somebody like you, don't worry about it. There'll just be more jobs created. Yeah. The question is, what happens to those people who get caught in the gap, right? And when we had this happen in the Industrial Revolution, that happened over 40 years, 50 years. And, the agricultural revolution, again, that was multi-decades. This one will happen in a decade. And so it'll be very different. And, you should be concerned.
And there you have it, man. You should be concerned. Why? Because they're replacing your jobs. All right. They don't want you people working. They want you people on a UBI system. All right. Which, if you don't know what that is, I recommend looking it up. But pretty much it's a universal basic income. They want you to the point to where you have to depend on the system in order to survive, man. They want you to want to implement that chip inside of you. They're not gonna come out, which they may, they very well may do it, but they're not just gonna come out and say, hey, well, the chip is mandatory, you need to take it, or you're gonna die. It's gonna come in the form, and this is my humble opinion as a man, that it's gonna come in the form of, oh, well, you don't have to take it, but if you don't, you can't participate in society. And they've already been saying this, man. They've already been telling you that you're not going to be able to participate in society with these things that are taking place, man. All right. You got, once again, Gil Bates talking about implantable devices. All right. They're already working on it, right? So I have another article for you. Brain implant lets people control devices using brain signals. It says a company called Synchron, backed by Gil Bates and Jeff Bezos, may become the first to commercialize a brain implant that lets people control touchscreen devices using brain signals. A company called Synchron, backed by Gil Bates and Jeff Bezos, may become the first. It looks like it it looks like it just repeated that, but it says, jumping down, it says the race to commercialize brain computer interfaces, or BCIs, is gathering pace, and one company, Synchron, is leading the way. Backed by investments from Gil Bates and Jeff Bezos, the Brooklyn-based firm beat competitors in winning regulatory approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to conduct clinical trials in 2021. So this is all part of this is all a couple, a few years ago. So they've already been working on these things, man. It says Synchron has also shunned invasive open skull surgeries for brain implants. Instead, the company uses a less invasive procedure that inserts a special electrode array, a centrode, into a blood vessel. This is achieved through surgery to the jugular vein, allowing access to a blood vessel near the brain's motor cortex, which controls muscle movements. All right. And so they've been working on these things. They've been doing this. All right. And then I got one more article on this. It says everything you need to know before getting an RFID implant. What if you could turn on a coffee machine by pointing to it? Wannabe cyborgs with little RFID chips under their skin are living with us. Tens of thousands of people implanted the tiny devices already under their skin to have simpler access to buildings or other people's phones. It says, theoretically, RFID implants offer practical benefits as contactless payments, unlocking doors, and accessing medical data with just a wave of your hand. However, the implants still face challenges such as safety concerns, potential infections, and limited data capacity. Ethical considerations surrounding privacy, surveillance, and potential discrimination must also be addressed. Nevertheless, the idea offers a glimpse into a future where technology seamlessly integrates with our bodies. All right, and I want to grab this. I want to grab the Slovakia. I want to grab Lord's will I can find it. All right, let's see. Future without smartphones. Zuckerberg, Musk, Gates, and Altman say yes. Apple says not yet. It says many believe that smartphones have changed the world more than any other invention in the human history. However, in recent months, major tech leaders have started outlining a future that leaves the smartphone behind. Tech giants like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, and Bill Gates are each backing technologies that aim to replace smartphones with more integrated ambient forms of computing in the near future. It says Elon Musk's company Neuralink has been developing brain-computer interfaces that allow users to use devices through thought-driven control. Neuralink has even implanted its device in 2 human subjects with the aim of removing physical interaction from computing. And I believe they actually have a third one. It says Bill Gates and Chaotic Moon. Bill Gates supports Chaotic Moon, a company designing digital tattoos, which is a biotechnology-based technique that wants to analyze and collect information from human body through it. These devices are still in the development phase. However, they will be worn on the skin, use nanosensors to monitor health, track location, and transmit data. The goal, hence, is to turn the human body into a digital interface. Zuckerberg and Meta. It says Mark Zuckerberg as well through Meta is focusing on augmented reality glasses. He believes AR devices will have the potential to replace smartphones by 2030, projecting data and communication tools directly into the user's field of vision. This approach also supports Meta's wider plans for the metaverse, where users will interact through immersed digital spaces. Altman and OpenAI. At the same time, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman advocates for seamless computing powered by AI. While these are less focused on hardware, OpenAI's AI system are seen as the underlying intelligence for new interface technologies, including both voice and vision-based systems. So they're already moving on these things, man. All right, you got ICE at the border. They're using facial recognition technology at the borders. All right, so these things are already happening, man. So real quick, before I continue, I want to grab the book of Job. I know I went on a long tangent, But this is the book of Job, chapter 20. And I'm going to start at verse. I'm going to start at verse. I'm going to go ahead and jump down to verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked, meaning poor, shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, God Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So though he's planning these things, he's not going to accomplish them. He says he shall flee from the iron weapon and the bow still shall strike him through. And so that's right, man. He's going to be destroyed by these thermonuclear missiles. All right, and I want to grab this. The scriptures say that he's going to be disappointed, right? Let me see. Here it is. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places, that's how Esau is. Hey, he's greedy of his prey. He don't want to let you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians go. All right. Instead, he wants to chip you. He wants to completely separate you, and he's already working on it. It says, arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him. Cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And so that's right. We pray that the Heavenly Father cast him down, which we know according to prophecy, he is going to be cast down. While he's in the fullness of his sufficiency. All right, the Lord is going to cast his fury upon him. He's not going to accomplish these goals. All right, but hey, he's going to get close. All right, because he's already working on these things. He's already been talking about this, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, implantable devices that is going to turn your whole body into a digital interface. All right, replacing smartphones with a Neuralink and such, right? It says, verse 14, from men which are thy hand, O Yahweh, from men of the world which have their portion in this life. And that's right. They have their portion in this life. They have golden jets. Hey, they have whole islands to themselves. All right. Hey, they're not eating abominable foods the way that we are. All right. It says, continuing it, in whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. And that's right. They've been passing down their riches from generation to generation, but hey, all that's going to come to an end. And so it says, verse 15, as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. And that's right. So when Yahweh Shai comes back and raises us up, that's when we're truly going to be satisfied, man, because hey, we're going to have overcome the wicked one through the blood of the Lamb, like it says in Revelation 12 and 10. All right, this is how we're going to overcome, by taking heed unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai's word, man. All right, we're not going to overcome him in our own power. All right, and we're not going to be able to wage a war against this man. All right, because carnally, the Heavenly Father has blessed him with a sword. All right, but it says, hey, he that kills by the sword, let's grab it in Revelation 13. All right, in verse 9. All right, Revelation 13 and verse 9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And so that's right. We're patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai to return and cast his fury upon Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, because we see the things that he's already planning. All right. And so moving on. All right. I want to go ahead and jump into some other things that are going on in the world. All right, because it's not just that. All right, you also have wars and rumors of wars. So this article says Venezuelan leader declares early Christmas as standoff with U.S. escalates. It says President Nicolas Maduro said Monday that Christmas will come early again this year, decreeing that the annual holiday, which is typically celebrated in late December in most of the world, will begin on October 1st in Venezuela. The move, which he said was aimed at bringing joy to the Venezuelan people, came on the heels of Maduro significantly increasing his planned troop deployment to the country's borders amid an escalating military standoff with the Trump administration, which accuses him of colluding with drug gangs to smuggle narcotics into the U.S. All right, and so these different nations are also planning for war. So while he's planning to implant this RFID chip, there's Neuralink. All right, while he's planning to move over to a digital age, Salakia, he's in straits. All right, he's catching hell on every side. All right, he's got civil war brewing with race wars, martial law. All right, he's got war in Russia and Ukraine, in Israel and Iran. All right, in Gaza. All right, U.S. and Venezuela. All right, China and Taiwan. All right, all these wars that are going on across the globe, and eventually they're gonna turn against America. You got India boycotting American goods. All right, you got all these different nations that are not wanting to send packages to the U.S. All right, these things are all happening because of his wickedness. All right, because he has said in his heart that he will rise above the heavenly Father, pertaining to Isaiah 14, right? And so I want to grab the book of St. Matthew 24. All right, because this is what Yahushua told us was going to take place. So Matthew 24, and I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And so that's right, man. These are just the beginning of sorrows, man. All right, let's grab this in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8. All right, jumping down to verse 50. Okay, and it reads, For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And so that's right, starting with Esau, Edom, because they have walked in great pride, many great miseries are coming upon the planet, man. All right, you got wars, pestilences, famines. All right, you got the love of many waxing cold, because iniquity is abounding. All right, all these things are taking place, and it's all according to prophecy. All right, and it's a beautiful thing to see, because this just goes to show that these nations, they're not in agreement with America anymore, and the policies that they're implementing, right? And so back in this article, it says, I want to jump down. It says Maduro has vowed to defend Venezuela in the face of escalating U.S. military maneuvering off his country's shores in recent weeks. Washington has doubled the bounty for the capture of the Venezuelan leader to 50 million, deployed warships off the country's shores, and sunk a boat, killing 11 people whom the Trump administration alleges were members of a drug trafficking gang controlled by Maduro. It says Maduro has sought to bolster his country's own military readiness in the face of the U.S. movements, including an announcement on Sunday that he was more than doubling the deployment of troops to secure Venezuela's long Caribbean coastline and its border with Colombia, stressing his determination to defend national sovereignty. The Venezuelan leader said in a message posted on social media that he would send 25,000 army troops to the borders, boasting a previously announced deployment of about 10,000 soldiers. He said the forces will be concentrated around major oil infrastructure in border regions. These 25,000 brave men and women of our glorious armed forces are deployed to defend our homeland, secure our borders, and preserve the peace that our people deserve, Maduro said. And so let me grab this in the book of Habakkuk, all right, because this was all spoken about in the scriptures, right? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, Yeah, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his! How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? And so that's right, man. These different nations, they're taking up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, is saying, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that thick clay in the Hebrew is I believe is a badia. All right, which means a debt or heavy weights. And we see that, man. Just jumping back, I want to jump back to the video I had playing earlier. When the Russians are talking about it, it says that they are angry, right? Let me see if I can get
Do
this
you need a
again.
loan for your business?
Man,
Well,
so
if
like you
you've
for
been
these
around
ads.
for over a year, I'm about to show you how to get up.
Has been sounding the alarm for a while now about what's coming. This is an existential moment right now for the U.S. dollar. So, you got to watch people when that's an existential threat. Dr. Elliott, great to have you here on the show finally. Welcome.
Well, it's great to be with both of you. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. So what is your, first of all, I want to get your take, first of all, on this BRICS emergency meeting. We're hearing a lot of blustering from the White House. We're hearing a lot of back and forth right now and this movement away from the SWIFT system. So why this emergency meeting and what does it portend for us?
Well, when you look at why they're doing it is because Trump is actually being successful in a lot of his tariffs, right? If you look at the Chinese exports to America, they're down 33% since the tariff started. So it's like, who is China in the world and who is America? China is the supplier. America is the consumer. So if you're the supplier, you have to have demand. So they're getting ticked, right? It's like a rabid dog backed into a corner, and they're going to start blustering, saying, we need to safeguard multilateralism, defend fairness and justice, promote
He said they're getting ticked, meaning they're getting mad, they're getting peed off, right? All right, and I want to grab that word blustering just real quick because he's mentioned that word. Stray blindly or blunderingly, wander aimlessly, go astray, shout loudly and angrily, whoo, to blow violently. And so that's right, they're blustering, man. All right, why? Because they see that America, the once great America, right, or so-called great, is now it's not only being destroyed from within. They're trying to take all the other nations down with them. All right, and while doing that, they're waging war, providing these different countries with weaponry. All right, specifically Israel, Salakia. All right, and now these nations, they're angry, man. And so continuing it back in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 8, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city and of all that dwell therein. And so that's right. So because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people are going to spoil thee. All right. And we see that already taking place. We see how these different nations are clicking up against America to destroy it, man. All right. And it's going to happen a lot sooner than we realize, man. The Heavenly Father is going to allow, there's going to have to be something drastic that takes place that's going to pop World War III completely off. All right, you're going to see America get dragged into the war. And then once it gets dragged into the war, we know that very soon, not only is Yahushua going to return, but America is going to be destroyed completely by thermonuclear fire, man. All right, so these are the times that we're coming into. All right, and more and more signs are leading into this. Let's also grab this. Let me see. Let me see. I believe I had something. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Check this out.
Stunning economic news today. The U.S. added just 22,000 jobs in August, and the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.3%. The number is well below the 75,000 expected and confirms the labor market is slowing down. The White House seemingly unfazed.
President Trump knows that we're super optimistic about the future of the jobs numbers because we're seeing a massive blowout in capital spending and new factory construction.
But the wholesale trade and manufacturing industries both saw job losses last month. Some analysts say the numbers point to growing concerns that President Trump's policies are forcing businesses to pull back on hiring.
The result of policies put in place by the Trump administration, which include the tariffs, immigration policy, government job cuts by DOJ.
President Trump hosting tech industry leaders at the White House last night, predicting long-term success.
In a year from now, when these monstrous, huge, beautiful places, they're palaces of genius, and when they start opening up, you're seeing, I think you'll see job numbers that are going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, man, they're trying to create more technological jobs. All right, creating like chips and creating robots. All right, to create more jobs, but they're giving you a false hope. All right, because they're gonna have robots creating these things. All right, that's where it's all it's all moving into, man. You got them threatening. Look, it says Trump threatens Chicago with a apocalyptic force, which I actually have that pulled up as well, man. All right. Let me see, where's it at? Here you go. Trump threatens Chicago with a apocalyptic force, and Pritzker calls him a wannabe dictator. Says President Donald Trump on Saturday amplified his promises to send National Guard troops and immigration agents to Chicago by posting a parody image from Apocalypse Now featuring a ball of flames as helicopters zoom over the nation's third largest city. It says, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning," Trump wrote on his social media site. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Woo! And so you got the president threatening its own country. So this is what's happening, man. Let's grab this in the book of St. Mark, man. All right, chapter 3, and jumping down to verse 23, it says, "And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables," this is Yahushua speaking, it says, "How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end." And so we are witnessing the end of Esau's kingdom, man. All right, as we speak, everything that is taking place, all right, it's all signifying the end of Esau's kingdom. It's all prophecy being solidified right before our eyes. And then you also have race wars that is brewing, man. Let me grab this on X right here. It says, "Wow, President Trump just released a video from the Oval Office addressing the killing of, I believe it's Irina Zarutska, pledging to take on violent criminals. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious, just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country." Now check this out.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on.
And who do you think they're talking about? They ain't talking about the so-called white man. All right, the so-called white man has been bloodthirsty criminals, man. They've been savage. All right, that's how they spread their Christianity. That's how they gained America. That's how they put sanctions and America was considered the hammer of the earth. All right, and now that that same violent tendency, all right, is gonna come back unto you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, man. All right, those of you who don't repent, that don't return unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, this evil is gonna come upon you.
People, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities need help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again. And that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe.
And best believe the chip is going to somehow be implemented in this, man. And then you look at the comments, man. It's time to rise up against these preventable crimes. All right, look at the things that they're posting, man. All right, white privilege. So these race wars are brewing, man. Martial law is here. All right, it's only going to get worse. All right, these things are going to take place. All right, and so with that, we'll go ahead and end it off in the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. All right, because there's not any work for Egypt. All right, Egyptian is being set against Egyptian. All right, we're in the midst of prophecy right now. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. And verse 2, it says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Hadawan, Yahweh of hosts." And that's right. And this fierce king, this cruel lord, we believe that it's talking about Trump, just based off of the way that he's going about everything. All right, it says, "And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of the fence shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more." You also have these farms failing. All right, you have them being destroyed by hailstorms. All right, being blasted, getting caught on fire. All right, there you got these farmers complaining as well. It says, verse 8, "The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the water shall languish." It says, "Moreover, that they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded." So, all these workers, all right, that worked they're fishermen, all right, they're farmers, so on and so forth. It's all failing, man. You got farmers sounding the alarm. All right, which I'll go ahead and just real quick, I'll grab something on that as well. All right, just to show you that this is all happening in real time. It says, "Farmers sound the alarm as critical piece of food supply faces collapse. Potentially," grab this real quick, "potentially higher prices at grocery stores," right? So they're complaining because, one, they don't have no workers, and two, their crops are failing, man. All right. It says, I'm going to go ahead and jump down to verse 14. It says, "Hadawan Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Unemployment is rising. All right, race wars is rising. All these things are only going to get worse. These are just the beginning of sorrows. All right, so keep your head up. Continue pushing for the word. Continue preaching in the names of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. As long as we can, because very soon, they're going to crack down against not just you Israelites that don't know you're Israelites, but those of you who do. And those of you who are posting these epistles, the affliction is coming. All right, race wars is coming. Martial law. All right, World War III. All these things are coming. And so the best thing to do is to trust in Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, call upon those names, and pray that you're found worthy to be saved, man. And not only yourself, we're praying as well, because none of us are exempt unless the Heavenly Father has preordained us to be exempt, right? And so I pray that this lesson was edifying, uplifting of the spirit. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. Call Haloyim, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, and to the next time.